right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? So, according to FS1's, Chris Broussard, I gotta have a lot of respect for. Technically, I used to work with Chris Broussard at ESPN. I never bumped into him, though. I never bumped into Chris. Every time I was at work, he was out in Brooklyn. It was early in the NBA season, so he hadn't come in at ESPN yet. And that was his last year at ESPN, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So I didn't see him a lot. Or I never saw him, actually. I knew he was around, but just never saw him, never bumped into him. You know, I have a lot of respect for Chris Broussard now doing his thing at FS1. And I want to react to something that he said about LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. He said he believed if the Lakers were able to acquire Anthony Davis this summer and to sign Jimmy Butler straight up and down, that the Lakers will be right there where they need to be in contention to compete in the Western Conference the following year. And here's what I think. I agree. But I don't think it's realistic. I'm not this Laker, because I am a Laker fan, but I'm not this Laker fan that's so on their high horse or biased to the point where I don't see the inevitable. The chances of Anthony Davis becoming a Los Angeles Laker are slim and none. Can we just discuss the facts? Trading Brandon Ingram with a blood clot is pretty much unlikely at best. That's if the Pelicans ever had interest in Brandon Ingram before the blood clot, let alone with it. And he was playing some of his best basketball of his career in February. Pelicans reportedly ain't really that high on Brandon Ingram. Kyle Kuzma, yes, they're very high on him. But it's going to take more than Kyle Kuzma to get an Anthony Davis trade done when the Pelicans believe they could get their hands on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown of the Celtics in a trade this summer. I just don't believe an Anthony Davis trade is realistic unless, this is the only small factor, if the Celtics get bounced in the first round, because they will be a 5 seed, and if they play Philly and lose to Philly in the first round, Kyrie's so upset that he decides to bounce from Boston and go to New York or Brooklyn or wherever. Now I could say, all right, maybe, just maybe, the Celtics now have to build around Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Gordon Hayward. You know, they now remove themselves from the Anthony Davis trade situation because they're not lined up to make a trade for a guy who has said, I'm leaving and going to LA in a year. Let's put it out there. To his agent, Rich Paul. So I don't believe the Lakers getting Anthony Davis is a real thing. Jimmy Butler, I believe, is a real thing. I believe the Lakers can acquire Jimmy Butler this summer. I actually think what's a more realistic option for the Lakers is Kemba Walker and Jimmy Butler. I believe they both could have some interest in the Lakers. Problem with that is I don't believe those two guys by themselves put you over the hump. You're still going to need some very good rim protection. And there's not a lot of rim protection on the open market this year. If you look at it, it's a perimeter-oriented free agent class. Even like guys like Vucevic, he's not a rim protector. You know, DeMarcus Cousins is not a rim protector by any means. You know, and then there's mostly perimeter guys like Kyrie, Kawhi, Clay, KD. You know, these are mostly perimeter guys, right? So you're going to have to find some adequate rim protection. Maybe a Dwight Howard would make sense. Maybe he come back to LA. That actually makes sense. As long as Dwight Howard is 100% sold on playing defense, not D. Never mind. Y'all ain't get the... Never mind. I'm not even finna go there. As long as he's 100% committed to playing defense and not worried about his offense game, right? Like not attacking. Never mind. Y'all ain't get the joke again. It's cool. I'm not going to even go there. Yeah, I do believe Jimmy Butler is possible, but I wouldn't go get Jimmy Butler unless I know Anthony Davis is coming in. I don't think I want Jimmy Butler and LeBron together because Jimmy's personality is a little more aggressive than LeBron's. But LeBron's clearly the better player than Jimmy. Like, I'm moving Jimmy Butler back. Like, I didn't have him on my A line of NBA players, and I had him on my B+ line, like right around where I had Clay at, you know. But I'm a little low on Jimmy Butler nowadays. I would move him to my B to B- line. Like, he doesn't impact a lot of winning plays. If you actually look at the 76ers, I believe they're going to sign Tobias Harris no matter what happens this summer and let Jimmy walk. I think they'd rather build around Ben and Tobias and Joel Embiid, obviously. So I'm almost higher on Tobias today than I am Jimmy Butler. Just a better team player, just willing to be a third option, which is what Jimmy Butler and Tobias both are. I just think Tobias is more willing to be a third option than Jimmy Butler is, right? So I don't know if I want LeBron and Jimmy Butler just together in LA if they don't get anyone else. That only makes sense if we got Anthony Davis, because I do believe Jimmy Butler can be a perimeter defender to take some pressure off Kevin Durant. I mean, off LeBron if they got to guard Kevin Durant. Let's say the Warriors stay together. Okay, now LeBron ain't got to worry about being the best defender and offensive guy on his team. I can allow Jimmy Butler to guard Kevin Durant for long stretches, and then maybe later in games I could pick up on KD, when it's winning time, and then switch Jimmy Butler on to Clay. That works, right? That works. And then if you got Anthony Davis, obviously he's a matchup nightmare no matter who any team has. But if you just go, I think Jimmy Butler and Kemba Walker is more realistic. And if you get Kemba Walker, I'd be willing to get Jimmy Butler. If as long as you got another star alongside Jimmy, I'm fine with the Lakers acquiring Jimmy. I just don't want LeBron and Jimmy together by themselves. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Because now you're asking LeBron to be the 4 with no elite rim protection at the 5, right? And I would hope they bring in a big if they sign Kemba. And obviously if you got Anthony Davis, you have rim protection. So LeBron, Jimmy Butler, and Anthony Davis makes the most sense. I do think that will put them in a nice position to compete. Because we're also, as a Laker fan, you're also betting on the fact that 9 times out of 10, KD's leaving Golden State. So the Warriors would get weaker by default. And even if they kept their team together, I think the Lakers could give them 2, 3 games. The Rockets I think it'll be a good series. I just don't think it's realistic that the Lakers will get their hands on Anthony Davis this summer. That's my opinion. Please tell me yours in the comment box below. I thank you guys so much for your time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. You are now tuned in.
Yeah, we locked in right now,
Mr.Taliaferro. Mr.Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro. Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr.Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the triple B's. You can't do nothing but win.